hi, this is our continuation of hormones on the endocrine system. This is vodcast number E5. Okay, we're going to take a look at the adrenal hormones glands today, and we're going to take a look at the gonads. So those will be the two that we're looking at today. The adrenal hormones deal with your response to stress. Well, where are the adrenal glands? Well, they're adjacent to the kidneys, and they're made up of two separate glands, the adrenal medullas and the adrenal cortex. Make sure you can identify which is which. The adrenal medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. These hormones are members of a class of compounds called catecholamines. Say it after me, catecholamines. They are secreted in response to stress-activated impulses from the nervous system, and these mediate the various fight or flight responses. And we took a good look at epinephrine in an earlier video podcast, so no need to go back over the second time. The hormones from the adrenal cortex now, they use steroid hormones in the body's response to stress. And there are three classes of steroid hormones in the body's response. One are the glucocorticoids. Say it after me. Glucocorticoids. An example would be cortisol. And these influence glucose metabolism and the immune system. The mineralocorticoids, such as aldosterone, affect salt and water balance. And the sex hormones are produced in small amounts in the adrenal cortex. Stress in the adrenal gland, well, let's take a look at what exactly happens. Now, I know some of you, if you're looking at this on a smartphone, you're going to have a little bit of difficulty. This is in your textbook. We're going to go over this in class to make sure this will be the only slide we do in class, so I can make sure that you see exactly what happens. So here we go. Some sort of stress occurs. Right? We don't know exactly what it is, and it causes a release from the hypothalamus of a hormone that is going to activate the adrenal cortex. Right? It's going to pass through the bloodstream, going to activate the adrenal cortex, which is going to secrete one of those steroids, either mineralocorticoids or glucocorticoids, but probably not the sex hormones. Right? The mineralocorticoids will deal with the retention of sodium ions and water by the kidneys, and it's going to increase the blood volume and blood pressure. Right? It's going to get more oxygen and get rid of more carbon dioxide. The glucocorticoids, well, they are proteins and fats are broken down and converted to glucose, leading to increased blood glucose, and that's for energy. And the immune system may be suppressed. Right? Now, the second signal coming in from the stress, right, this is going to be a nervous signal. It's going to go through the spinal cord, and it's going to go into the adrenal medulla, which is going to secrete epinephrine and norepinephrine. Well, what are those short-term responses? Well, glycogen is broken down to glucose, and it's increasing the blood glucose, right, for energy. Increased blood pressure, increased breathing rate, more oxygen, increased metabolic rate, and it's going to change the blood flow patterns, leading to increased alertness and decreased digestive and kidney activity. Now, I should have mentioned earlier that the adrenal medulla deals with short-term stress response, the fight or flight. The longer-term stress responses are the responsibility of the adrenal cortex. So we're going to take another look at that tomorrow, just make sure that everybody has this. Okay, we're taking a fast look at the gonadal sex hormones. The gonads are both the testes and the ovaries. And these produce most of the body's sex hormones, androgens, estrogens, and progestins. And those are hormones, obviously. So let's take a look. The testes primarily synthesize androgens, and this is going to be testosterone in males. Testosterone stimulates the development and maintenance of the male reproductive system. Testosterone also causes an increase in muscle and bone mass, and this is sometimes taken by young men as a supplement to increase muscle growth. However, this carries many health risks, to say nothing of legal risks for those people taking these drugs for sports activities. The estrogens in women is probably the most important of which is estradiol, And this is responsible for the maintenance of the female reproductive system and the development of female secondary sex characteristics. The progestins are a separate category, and they include hormones such as progesterone, primarily involved in preparing and maintaining the uterus. Right, and this deals with a woman's monthly cycle and giving birth. Now the last gland we're going to take a quick look at is melatonin, and this is kind of an interesting gland. It's located up in the cranium, right in the brainstem, and it secretes melatonin. Now the effects of this are not really very well known, but it's presumed that this has something to do with coordinating work and sex activities in the dark. So, or at night. Well, let's take a quick look over the adrenals and the gonads. Well, the adrenal glands, so we have the medulla and the cortex. The cortex deals with those three steroids, glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex hormones. And medulla, which is fight or flight, and the catecholamines, epinephrine and norepinephrine. The cortex deals with long-term responses to stress. The medulla deals with short-term responses to stress. The gonads deal with are the testes and ovaries. In the testes, we're dealing with androgens. This is on the male side, and it's primarily testosterone, although there are others. And for females in the ovaries, there's estrogen, a primary one, which is estradiol, and progestins. And the primary hormone that we just looked at was progesterone. So thank you very much. Let's make sure you have a good understanding of this, and any questions, please let me know in class tomorrow.